What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Commissioner We Have a Problem. Justin just gave me notes on the intro, and I just went into the mode and I ignored them all. Apparently, I rock back and forth, so we'll ignore that. But today, fresh off the battlefield, bruised and broken, we've got Blake joining us. So, hey, thanks for making it, Blake, even though it was a rough week for you.
Yeah, I didn't know I'm going to do this. I've been crying all day.
Hey, well,
I will repeat this, just so y'all know, at least for the next week, anyone who cares about fantasy football needs to get a life. Fantasy football is stupid. There's more important things out there, so, just had to be said.
I appreciate your work this week because you made me feel better because you kept me from being on the bottom. So
well, you made me feel a little bit better too. So I appreciate
it. Yeah, I'm sure. A little mutual.
It. Yeah, you guys both made me feel really good. I mean, after the past 2 weeks that I've had, and when someone ahead of you in the standings takes a deep loss like that, feels so good.
Let's remember though, who scored in the 50s? Was that you, Logan, or was it me?
Definitely wasn't me.
That's right, it was Justin. That's right. Okay. Just wanted to
but
make sure.
Then the next week, scoring 135, looking good. Although I don't know who I'm going to start at running back next week, but that's besides the point.
That's next week's problem.
Yeah, exactly. We're in week 5, baby. It's still wrapping up. We got Kansas City game going on behind me. So Alvin Kamara's relevant. Barely any of the Chiefs at this point, but Christian's got Kelsey.
Kareem Hunt is relevant.
That's true. He's putting it to you, isn't he, Logan?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and
I've already offered 2 first-rounders for him.
I believe it.
Fingers crossed. Wesley will accept it. Trying to beat Ryan to the punch,
Yep. Yeah. Well, I've got a pretty juicy offer from Ryan in my inbox as well. So
those first-round picks are burning a hole in his pocket.
Yeah, they really are. He can't sit still with trading.
No, he cannot. Anyway,
do a little recap of. Well, I guess we should note that last week we were putting Riley at 4-0, and I think literally 10 minutes after we stopped recording, Garrett Wilson scored and Josh ended up winning, which I didn't realize it was that close. I guess until Garrett Wilson went off and Riley ended up losing. So just an editor's note from last week.
Yeah, that was funny because, we were talking up Riley the whole podcast, and I think I even had him in a tier higher than he should have been had I.
That was on you.
I mean, hey, you got to give 4-0 props when it's due, but it didn't work out this week, and I think he's going to drop to 3-2 after this week. So we'll have Blake give the tiers this week. How about that?
Oh, I like that.
Okay, let's dive in. I'll pull up the scores, and we can start talking about what caught our eye.
I mean, I already know my big surprise for this week.
That my team did bad because they're so good. You just couldn't believe it.
I think, yours is probably the second biggest surprise. Although last week I think you struggled and pulled off a win. Whoa.
It's 120 points.
Was that what you scored? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what you started off really bad last week, and then your team just exploded. Hey, Justin, you're sharing we're seeing an infinite loop of shared screens right now.
Oh, that's
kind of cool though.
I don't know if you know how to work your computer, but
I've gotten us through 15 episodes, have I not?
I don't. Beats me. I don't listen to them.
15. What are we doing for episode 100?
I don't know. Probably bring on the whole league. That's what my vote would be.
No, 0 listens.
I would hate that.
Yeah. If we have the whole league on, we'll have no one listening. So
No. I legit saw one of the videos had 42 views.
Which ones?
We'll find that out later. But yeah, I was pretty thrilled with that.
Hey, well, let me tell you a little trick I used to do when I was in middle school. When I'd make a video and put it on YouTube, you just click refresh over and over again, and it adds views. So someone's throwing you a bone, probably.
Yeah, it's my mom. I mean, I told her to do that.
Definitely your mom.
All right, what caught your eye, Logan?
I mean, this one's personal, but Wesley's team was obviously putting up his best game of the year by.
You mean the turd sandwich?
The turd sandwich. So previously his high was 80 points. This week he could get to 120. So he's about to possibly beat his best score of the year by 40 points. Just everyone and everything on his team clicked this week, which is quite unfortunate because my team put up by far its worst week of the year. So really unfortunate timing, and it feels bad to lose to the 0-4 team, especially when you're feeling good about your team. I foolishly thought that my team's floor was higher than this, but apparently not. So here I am.
Yeah, and Wes's team was 0-4, so that one stings a lot.
It does. Yeah, this was I think last week, and this is because last week you called it my bye week, so I think you did this to me.
Love that.
Certainly not a bye week, obviously, and obviously how Kareem Hunt performed didn't matter, but I dropped him in September, so I traded a second for him last year. He wasn't on a team in September, and I dropped him, and now he's going to put up 20+ points on me.
Well,
yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, you would have lost even without Kareem Hunt in the picture.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Kareem doesn't really matter, but it's just kind of kicking me while I'm down.
And Logan, your whole team is healthy and playing this week.
I know.
That makes it even worse.
Aaron Rodgers did get injured in the first half, but even if he puts up another 20 points, it doesn't even matter.
Aaron Jones, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Well, I mean, when you're starting guys like A.J. Barner, I don't know how you could lose a game.
I didn't.
Who is that? I've literally never seen that name in my life.
He scored a touchdown last week for the Seahawks, and Sam Laporta was on a bye. So I just, it was a Hail Mary at tight end this week.
Hey, he's a rookie.
I'll say.
Zach tried to trade me Dalton Schultz, and he wanted to trade Dalton Schultz, not Dalton Schultz, Jake Ferguson for Brian Robinson Jr. Straight up.
Ooh.
And he was very disappointed at how I didn't prioritize my tight end depth. And so
every good team has at least 2 or 3 good quality tight ends.
Blake knows.
Yeah.
Hey,
Cole Kmet is my tight end too. I mean, come on.
For what it's worth, tight end depth is kind of coming in clutch for Josh's team now, with Kyle Pitts somewhat being even though Kyle Pitts had a good week, Tucker Kraft, I think, performed miracles for Josh. So
sure did. How about that Kirk Cousins start-sit decision? That one's got to sting a little.
I mean, it stings pretty minimal because Kirk Cousins has not really been startable in fantasy this year. He's been pretty meh to average. So
yeah.
But I said earlier, it should have been obvious he was going to have a career best night, and I just ignored all the facts. So
yeah, I'll give you credit. I mean, I didn't start him in outmanage, so
nobody did. Nobody started him in outmanage. That's how much of a sleeper he was.
To be fair,
how many people
did
set their
outmanage?
It was probably
2.
No, I think it was 8 people.
Really?
Oh, everyone's trying to beat you, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm the one it defaults to. Sorry. There were 8 people created rosters. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people said it, but no one started Kirk Cousins.
Hopefully they didn't start Sam Darnold either. Boy wonder finally slowed down.
Levy started Sam Darnold. Jets D is good. Jets D is good. So I'm not faulting Boy Wonder.
We'll see.
Yeah,
anyway,
Logan, I have Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins on my redraft team. So we're kind of similar, you and I. And I started Sam Darnold, so
it's clearly this was a weird week because I'm the very last place team in another league that we're all in, and my team is going off, just like Wesley's team is going off this week. So it just seems like maybe it's a weird week in fantasy. At least that's what I'm telling myself for Dynasty.
I think this week is kind of like the upside down fantasy weeks.
yeah, I think so.
I mean, for my team and your team to be at the bottom. That makes no sense. And Justin's team, Justin scored 135.
Yeah. That's how you know
what's happening.
That's how you know
what is happening.
Week.
Speaking of some wild action this week, I think we should talk about some of the midweek trades that went down. Almost forgot about this. So I'm scrolling back up here in the chat. I was working hard, like everyone is during the day, but apparently there was some intense action. So I'm going to try to pull those up on the screen here. 2 trades by the reigning champ. And let's just say I don't think the reigning champ is going to be reigning anymore because he made 2 big blockbuster deals. He sent away Joe Mixon, who's been pretty good when healthy.
He made 3. I would say he made 3 blockbuster deals.
Shoot. I can't even remember the third, so we'll get into it. But he sent away Joe Mixon. He basically got a first-round pick for it, and then some change there, Ty Chandler for a third. But yeah, sending away Joe Mixon, which was one of his starting running backs. And then seconds later, pulled out another trade. This one arguably the biggest of the trio. He sent away Christian McCaffrey, who we all know has been hurt since the beginning of the season, seeing specialists in Germany. And the return was pretty decent. He got a 26 first-round pick from Corey, a 27 first-round pick from Corey, and then also Trey Benson, who Corey took at pick 109 in this year's rookie draft for Christian McCaffrey in a second. So quite a haul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the 2026 is going to end up probably being pretty high, but there's a lot of potential that 2027 with how old Corey's team is. Like, one of those could pan out to being an early pick if all of Corey's team hits a wall, but he's got a very old team, and it's crazy. I mean, if CMC comes back this year, it's going to be hard for anyone to beat Corey's team now.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. We'll get into that later.
Okay.
I have opinions, but...
And then you guys mentioned the third trade. I think I finally see it.
Wait.
Did Christian send that trade to y'all also?
He sent me Brian Robinson Jr. and my 101, or potential 101. If Weston's team is going to keep doing this, it'll end up being 102. But my early first rounder and Brian Robinson Jr. for CMC and my own second was what he offered me.
Not enough.
Didn't like that?
I didn't. If CMC doesn't come back this year, that trade doesn't make sense for me. And Brian Robinson Jr. is having a really amazing year, and what Jaden Daniels is doing for that offense is pretty bullish on Brian Robinson Jr. And he's one of my young running backs on a team that I have a mixture of young players and old players, and my running backs a few of them are older. So I was a little nervous to do it with the potential that CMC has double Achilles tendonitis.
So what I'm hearing is you're destined for mid.
I don't think I'm destined for mid, but I think I'm a high placing team. CNC comes back and I make that trade, it's really good for me. But I'm trying to build a dynasty, not just a one and done.
Says the guy who's never won at all.
It takes time. It takes time. Okay, you guys.
You're well on your way, Logan.
You guys y'all only know about winning once. Y'all don't understand about winning year after year. So
I mean,
it's a
nobody
process.
does. So when you get there, you let us know. But
what I'm telling you is I do. It's just we're still in the early process.
Right. All right. Well, that was interesting. Midweek trade action, and then I found the third one. I kind of forgot about this one. Less spicy, in my opinion, but Christian also sent away one of his starting wide receivers, Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin's wide receiver 1 on the year so far. So
not anymore.
In the league? In the NFL?
And no, like fantasy wise, after week 4, he was wide receiver. Yeah, after week 4, he's wide receiver 1.
What?
Yes,
he's definitely
that's crazy.
I think he's overperforming. I think he'll come down a little bit, but yeah, I think he's definitely a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside every single week. Buccaneers offense has been really good, so I think this was a good move for Josh. Josh did send a good bit for him. He sent a 27 first. Actually, he didn't really send a bunch. He sent a bunch of first round. He sent one first and a bunch of scraps for Chris Godwin and Cortland Sutton.
I will say Josh was asked, like when I first saw this trade, I hated it. I thought Josh got absolutely trounced. Then Josh was like asking me for his opinion and made me look at the trade again. And I was like, actually, it was a lot more fair than I think I thought at first glance. At first, it seemed like Christian pretty clearly won. But after reviewing it, I was like, okay, this was actually a decently fair trade.
Yeah.
Okay, but
let's hear it.
Let's look at the trends of Chris Godwin here. Week 3, he had 14 points. Mm-hmm. Week 4, he had 9.9. Week 5, he had 9.1. And he only had 6 targets this last game. So I'm not saying he's not good, but is he a first rounder and 2 third rounders good? I don't know. I mean, 10 points a week. And he's only been he was bad last year too. Like that's the thing, is he's
one thing so
I don't know.
I think this week is a bad look for him. Last week, I'm not going to fault him too much necessarily because they got up on the Eagles so big so fast. I got to imagine that slowed their offense down. But this week, it was an absolute shootout. So it's pretty disappointing to only see him score 9 points on what that game was.
Yeah.
And also, my other thing is looking at Levy's team. I don't think he's even going to be starting Chris Godwin late in the season if his team's healthy. Like, I think he'll be on his bench by the end of the season if his team is healthy. Because he has A.J. Brown on the bench. He has Tony Pollard. He has Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle kind of had a breakout game this week. He ran the best he's run all year.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But
I will say, like, Levy's probably pretty shook because he had like 4 guys out, and he's like, shoot, I don't have depth. So
yeah,
and we all know draft picks burn holes in his pocket. So
they sure do.
He's been trying to get rid of those ever since they showed up on his team page.
I think he's down to 1 pick again.
Is he?
Yep, 1 third-round pick next year.
No first rounders. Yeah.
He kept himself in the draft next year. He's got the 312. Am I right?
Nah, 305. 305.
Definitely Logan.
Anyway,
for those listening, he has Logan's third-round pick in 2025. So that's the joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Always looking out for the listeners, Blake. Appreciate it.
Sure. So some midweek action that definitely spiced it up.
There's one more trade.
There was? Jeez, what did I miss?
You've only done the Chris Godwin and the CMC trade.
No, I did the other one.
What was the other one?
The Joe Mixon.
Oh, you barely talked about Joe Mixon. I thought this was a pretty even trade. Christian's getting rid of an aging running back, and Ryan's now decided not to tank and is going for it all. So I gotta imagine Ryan's gonna end up mid-pack, switching kind of like that. But he's putting together pieces, and he's still trying to get more pieces. Trying to piece together some young wide receivers is what Ryan's seeking to do. So I am told.
Well, let's go ahead and take a peek at Ryan's team. I think that might be a next matchup because, he's going for it all here. Maybe not going for it all, but he's definitely trying to compete now.
I think he's going for it all. I don't even, how many draft picks does he have left? 2. I think he has 2. Did he have a lot?
A lot before this season? I don't remember exactly, but I feel like he had a lot to start.
And he still has my first round pick, which is 112.
That's crazy. I guess.
Yeah.
Ryan and Justin seem to be in this merry-go-round where they just like want to tear their teams down and build them back up in a span of like 2 to 3 weeks at a time.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, it might not be the best strategy, but I am sure having fun, and I know Ryan is too, because that's why he plays. He doesn't play to win; he plays for fun. He told me.
Yeah, he did say that in the podcast. He's doing a really good job.
By the way,
yeah. Well, agreed.
Logan loves having fun playing fantasy football.
I wish
He's
I
all
had.
about it.
I wish I had. I didn't have fun in Dynasty this week. It was really not fun.
Oh, let's go look. Let's see what happened. Oh, we already talked about that one. Blake had a lot of fun. Let's go take a look at Blake's matchup.
All right,
I had a lot of fun.
I was playing you, so whatever.
It's all started with Drake London too.
It really did. So I don't know if you guys heard the analysis last week from our special guest. I still won't give any spoilers just in case you need to go listen to that one. But he called this spot on. Thursday Night Football was a boom for fantasy points, and then there was one player in particular he highlighted, my boy DeAndre Swift. Man, was he a bummer for most of the season so far, but the past 2 weeks he's turned it on, and he gave me 19 points. So happy about that.
Yeah, that was really, really sad for DeAndre Swift to score a bunch of points against me. Of all people, DeAndre Swift.
He did well last week. So it seems like he's starting to come back.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're learning the dump offs are a good solution for him. I mean, he had 7 targets last week, only 2 this week, but it seems like they're getting him more in space. And then when you score a touchdown, that always helps. No touchdowns prior to last week. So, yeah, he's thankfully filling in for an injured Jonathan Taylor. But Blake had a tough week, riding on Bucky Irving's recent hot streak, but just couldn't
Never
pull it
good
out.
when you're riding on Bucky Irving. That's not a formula for success.
I started Bucky Irving and outmanage as well, trying to beat you. And we were talking about for the podcast. Unfortunately, I actually did worse than your roster, trying to outmanage you. So
my roster had endless possibilities of ways to score under 70 points, and me and Logan chose a few of them.
Yeah. Well, I do think, while my team did have a relatively good week, there's definitely some bummers still. I mean, Achane getting hurt with a concussion. He's been bad. Well, I won't say this. The Dolphins have been bad since Tua has gone out. Past 3 weeks.
There hasn't been anyone good on the Dolphins.
No, it's been hard to watch. I mean, the week he went out was week 2. They basically used Achane like a receiver. But then since then, he's had 7 points, 4 points, and then 2 points due to the concussion. So that's concerning to me. I can't wait for all the lowball offers that come in. But yeah, Achane has been a real disappointment for me after week 2.
Hey, Justin, just a reminder, after week 2, you said, guys, don't let me trade Devon Achane.
I'm serious.
And since then, he's averaged like 5 points a week.
I know,
so are you sure about that?
So basically, here's the thing. Justin's so bad at managing his team that he missed the opportunity to sell high when he should have.
You should have sold him.
Yeah, he's now holding when he should sell, and he's selling when he should hold.
Yeah, it's about right on most things. But I am holding some good assets that are holding me through some tough times. One, Drake London, T. Higgins, tight ends I don't want to talk about. And yeah, I actually made some good start-sit decisions this week, which is usually what kills me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
T. Higgins, I mean, how many good weeks has he had in the last 2 seasons?
Honestly, so
has he been
it's
good?
Weird. When he and Jamar Chase play together, I feel like he's better. And then when Jamar Chase is out, he plays really well. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think he's been good.
This week helped that they had a shootout, so I don't think you're gonna get that much more. The Ravens seem to like shootouts, so it's up against the Bills where they just destroy them.
I think T's a good asset for me. He's a solid wide receiver 2, and I think he's going to sign a big contract next year as a wide receiver 1 with the Chargers. Okay. Let's go Chargers.
Pretend he didn't go to Clemson. Do you still think he's a good asset?
I think he's a wide receiver 3 if he didn't go to Clemson.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Hey, he balled out this week.
I also didn't outmanage you this week, but that's mostly because I left Anthony Richardson in and didn't change him out when he was out.
What a fool.
I know.
Can we talk about how I knew Dontavian Wicks was going to be awful this week?
It's because he was so highly sought after. He was doomed to fail.
I know, and he hasn't actually been good this season. So it's like was supposed to be good this week, but he's been bad all season. So of course he was bad this week.
Wow,
he was decent week 2 against Indy. He's got a touchdown.
Over the past 2 weeks, he's had 20 targets and only 7 catches.
I mean, that 20 targets is. But I mean, that Minnesota week, he dropped a lot of balls.
Yep.
I mean,
he still had 2 touchdowns.
This game this week, he dropped. I only watched for like 5 minutes. I saw him drop 1 short one, and then 1 long pass. That was not a great throw, but he definitely could have caught it. So it's just like he's always wide open though. Like literally, he's always open, but he cannot catch the ball. So, I don't know. I think he might be. We'll see. But
I mean, that's not a good. Christian Watson will come back. That's not good for Dontavian Wicks, but he's dropping balls like that. That's not very. It's not very bullish. Are you gonna try to sell him, trade him away?
Yeah, you want him?
I know he wouldn't start on my team.
I think Ryan offered me 2 firsts for him, so we'll see if I can still make that happen.
You should jump on that.
Man. Well, any other matchups catch your eye that we should look into real quick?
I mean, Josh's team scoring 130, and his team wasn't even good this week. Like, that is pretty... That shows the power his team has.
It's because of Tucker Kraft and Jamar Chase.
I know. But, like, if you have players who can score 40, like, that's the thing that makes you hard to beat.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Garrett Wilson did amazing.
22 targets. That's insane.
I don't understand how I watched the Jets game, and I watched how abysmal that offense. I I don't know how he got that many fantasy points after watching that offense play.
It was really painful.
It was.
But yeah, these 3 players made up like 75% of his score. So that always helps when a few players go boom. And then, yeah, he didn't lose points with his defense. I swear, I've lost in some other leagues. When you lose points with a defense, your team just feels like destroyed from the inside out.
Hey, only 2.5 more years left of defenses, so
can't wait to get rid of them.
Because Christian, Mr. Tanking, has to have defenses still.
Yeah, that's
maybe he'll
that's
change
true.
his mind now that he's tanking. Maybe he
that's
doesn't
a good
care.
point. It's a good point. Although I'm really interested for the dynamic in season, the season before defenses leave and what they look like, because there's a time clock of when they're worth 0. So they're going to have value to competitors and no value to anyone else. So I'm actually kind of interested in that kind of the niche market that's created there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on then.
Zach scored 146. That seems notable.
Wait, and Zach, go to Zach's team.
Both Zachs did good.
Both Zachs, both Zachs. It's like, again, okay, Justin was disrespecting Zach last week. Zach's team has been pretty good all season, and you were disrespecting his team, and his team didn't like that.
I mean, okay.
I mean,
is this repeatable though? I mean,
I think Bowers is repeatable. I think Bowers has been as advertised.
Yeah, how Blake,
Yeah.
you were kind of dogging on him for that Brock Bowers, Don Kincaid trade, but it seems pretty savvy now.
it wasn't just me. That was everyone.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I mean, I think he could have got more.
I said I liked it. You think? I don't know. I thought that was pretty fair first for Don Kincaid.
Well, now in hindsight, definitely, I feel like I got shafted by that trade. But
what I'll say about his team is it is doing well. I mean, I was tracking Jackson Smith and Jigba because I had him in another league, and I have Geno. He caught a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Up until that point, like, he had like 3 points. So it's like, I mean, yeah, when you extrapolate things like that, it's like, okay, take away one play, the player was stinky. But like, you look at his bench. Okay, Alec Pierce. Gosh, he's so wild. That is such a volatile asset. My goodness. Yeah. But like, you look at his bench, and you're like, if he had any of his starters on bye, I don't know who he would have started. You know, like
Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to he's a sleeper when he comes back.
Fool me once.
Not.
Yeah, I was like,
well, Isaiah Pacheco's out. He is.
Look at what Kareem Hunt is better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I don't know if he is.
Blake did it right when he sold him for a first and a second.
Okay, yeah, no one's arguing that.
Logan.
No one's arguing that.
Oh, man. But I think he's set up at a really good position with his quarterback. I think Lamar has just been so consistent from a fantasy perspective. Like, I can't remember him having a really bad game. Like, I'm looking through 2024. He's been great. But, like, I don't see single-digit games. Okay, I see two. One. Two out of a season, though, is pretty good. Like, I think Josh Allen's had 2 this season already.
Yeah, I
mean, I don't think he has. Oh, he has.
He has. So, anyway.
And then
yeah, I think you're right, Justin, about depth. I mean, if you look at his team, I mean, the bye weeks are coming. And injuries are coming. And if you don't have any depth at this point, it's going to be hard to keep getting wins. So we'll see what happens. But
agreed.
Zach had 5 players out. Zach Garcia. 5 players out, and he put up like 130. Yeah. So, like, look at his bench. Look at who's. Oh man, and he got the Ravens wide receiver 1, Rashad Bateman.
That's funny.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Zay still scored more fantasy points. You know.
Yeah.
Did he end up scoring more?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see who's hurt. I want to see who's hurt. He's got.
I mean, Devin Singletary probably lost his job.
Yeah, honestly.
Not lost his job, but split it.
He had Neighbors and Shakir on his bench. Big whoop.
I guess that's true. I guess those are starters. Those are like starters for him, and they're kind of mid, and so maybe it forced him to actually make good roster decisions.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors
definitely limited his room for error.
You're right. Malik Neighbors is good, but
He's fine. He's only wide receiver 5 on the year while sitting out a game.
Yeah.
Good pick.
But
All right.
I've got the Rams and Vikings on bye next week, and so I'm hoping Zach's team doesn't do what it did this week because I play him next week, and I'm kind of scared.
I haven't
Who does he
even
have
looked
on
at next
the-
week, honestly.
Oh, you have players on those teams.
I have players on those teams.
Well, Zach has Jordan Whittington, so he'll be out. So that helps you.
True, but Malik Neighbors will probably be back, I would assume.
That's true. All right. Well, before we go into a mini preview of Week 6, I want to hear Blake's tiers.
Ooh, fruity and slip. That's how he views your team. It's just like a blank space.
Yeah. Every time I play Blake, I just see it as a blank space. But yeah, let's go ahead and hear those
You did
tiers.
beat me last week and this week. So.
I did. So I did. What did I do? 4 tiers. Oh, yeah, I did 3 in Wes. So you can choose however many you want, Blake. But yeah, go ahead and break out the league. I'll scroll down to the standings here so you can see. Keep in mind tonight's scores are not reflected in there, but should give you a decent idea.
Are these current tiers or where I think the season's going to go?
No, current tiers. Like tiers right now.
Okay.
As of Week 5.
Yeah, Week 5 rankings.
Well, Tier 1, unfortunately, I hate to do this, but it's got to be Justin's team. He's
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't hate to do it, Justin. Your team is good. Justin's team and Josh Levinson's team, Josh Rich's team, and Corey. I think all those 4 teams, Logan, hold your horses. I think those 4 teams are pretty well positioned.
Justin's team, the team that scored 50 2 weeks ago and like 70 last week.
Yeah, that team. And there's some reason for it. I mean, wait, did I mean to say Justin's team? Hang on. Maybe not Justin's team.
Yeah. I had myself in Tier 3 last week, I think.
Let's move Justin's team down a tier.
Okay, that's fair.
I think I was looking at Josh Levinson's team is what I was thinking.
Justin's team's had you've had 2 good weeks, I think, this week and the first week.
Yeah, but he's got Cooper Kupp on the IR. And there was someone else. Who else do you have on the IR?
Jonathan Brooks.
That's what I was thinking, is looking at Justin's team, it seems like he could be really well positioned into the season. But I'll stick with current tiers. So we'll keep Justin out of Tier 1 for now. So I would say Tier 1 is Levy, Josh, and Corey.
Okay.
Tier 2, Logan. I'll throw you in there.
I'm livid.
Just to keep you happy.
Oh, keep me happy.
Yeah. And Zach Miller's team, I don't like his team, if I'm being honest. So I'll keep Logan and Justin in Tier 2. And then Tier 3, I'm going to put Zach Miller, myself, and Zach Garcia.
Wow. I guess that's the last tier. Or no, there'll be a 4th tier.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 4 teams left.
Although Ryan's team is coming on. I'll throw Ryan in that Tier 2.
Okay.
So me, Zach, and Ryan in the 3rd.
Yeah, he did just trade for an injured Joe Mixon, so when he comes back, he'll help.
Yeah. And so last tier, Christian, Wesley, and I'm sorry, but Riley.
Dang.
Your team is a bottom tier team still.
From 4-0 to 3-2 bottom tier.
Yeah, how do you even go from 4-0 to 3-2? That's like a crazy.
It's hard to do.
Impressive.
But yeah, those are my tiers. And
okay.
Yeah, if you want to give a rest of season outlook, I can do that too. But
I will save it. We did hot takes, and we know those hot takes are burning up daily. But
I've got those listed out in the app. One of these podcast episodes will go over them, but now I have.
Just don't worry about mine.
Yeah, let's do it at like week 7 or
actually
7 or 8
no,
when we're halfway.
Let's revisit Blake's hot take since he's on.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So I'll check.
They're going to look bad this week. This week they're going to look especially bad. But
I'm checking the content in the Outmanage app. There's a plug. It's in the App Store and it's on the web as well. app.outmanagefantasy.com.
Let me search it real quick. What is it?
What's Outmanage?
.outmanagefantasy.com. There you go.
Check it out. All right, so it would be under lore.
No, this is content because this is not league specific. This is for content is where like all our podcast stuff is.
Gotcha. Sweet. All right.
So it'd be under articles. It's also featured. Yeah.
All right. I kind of forgot about my hot takes. Let's blur these out. Let's go to Blake's here. Ooh.
Okay, one could happen. I forgot about that one.
I think all 3 could still happen.
I don't know about Justin Fields being a top 10 QB.
What?
I don't know about DJ Moore.
Could happen.
Yeah, I was going to say Justin Fields as top 10 feels the most likely, besides the Cowboys, of course.
I mean, it's the most on the table.
For those listening, DJ Moore finishes as the 3rd best fantasy receiver on the Bears. Was one of them. Yeah. Which this week it looks bad.
Prior to
Keenan Allen's been hurt.
Yeah.
So, but still, DJ Moore's been good.
Did Rome have a good week this week? I know he had one good week, but I don't know if he had a good week.
Nah, he scored like 6 points, 7 points.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it's looking like DJ Moore's going to be the best wide receiver on the Bears
so far. Justin Fields, top 10 quarterback, which I'm assuming he currently is.
I think it's like 2 or 3. I mean, he got like 30 points last week. This week, I think he got 15.
I'll check.
This says number 9, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yep, number 9. So far, so good?
I'm assuming he'll perform better than Carr, and he'll stay above Carr and Patty.
I mean, to be fair, it was a much hotter take going into the season because, Russell Wilson was the presumed starter until he hurt his calf.
That's true.
So that was a hot take.
True, yeah. Which he might be the starter as of next week, so we'll see. See what happens. But Cowboys are going to be bad.
Hot take, Cowboys are going to be bad.
They've been pretty good. They've been all right.
Yeah.
So
they were opposite of last year. Really good on the road, apparently, and bad at home.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's next on the docket? Just a quick sneak peek at Week 6?
Yep.
All right. So, going down the matchups here, looks like we got a people stuck in the middle of the league, sitting at 3-2 or 2-3. So, lots of those matchups. Who's got the bye week? Looks like
there's no such thing as a bye week anymore, okay?
Well, I don't know. Wesley's projected 52, so...
who did you have on? Did you have people on bye?
Just Jordan Addison. Okay, and Kareem Hunt. So yeah,
and the Dolphins D.
Not that bad, but yes. Looks like there could be some matchups that are tilted heavily in one direction, and then with Christian joining the tanking crew, I think that one, Zach's team is on a hot streak. We'll see how his bye looks, because we determined his starting roster is good, but no depth. And
looks like he's avoiding the buys again. His team doesn't go on buys, apparently.
Yeah.
That's a secret.
He's taking a 17-game season straight.
Although his best player, the Minnesota Vikings defense, is out next week. So
they've been so good, yeah. Buys are crushing me next week. So most of my buys are done by week 6 or 7. So,
well, you missed the injuries. That hit my team early. They're going to hit yours late.
Well, no. See, Aaron Jones got injured strategically. He got injured the week before his bye, so he'll get his injuries out of the way and be good to go when he's back.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So you got hit by bye week. Who's on bye for you?
I already benched them all because I was sad about this week, so I went and set my roster for next week.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, none of these are jumping off as like super pivotal. I think a lot of teams are still in that middle zone, 2-3, 3-2, So I think we'll start to see more clarity in a couple weeks. But for now, the only teams that are looking really out of it, Wes's team, Christian's going to end up 1-4 after this week. And then everyone else is relatively in it, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be one 4-1 team, and then there'll be a lot of 3-2 teams. So it's going to be tough. I think one of our preseason episodes was, most competitive season yet. It might turn out that way. It's being really competitive so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I did find out. Go ahead.
As far as teams, I don't think personally there's a huge favorite to win it all, from my perspective. I think going into the season Josh Rich was the heavy favorite, but I think now anyone can do it at this point.
You said you had some takes on Corey's team now after the trade. Do you don't think if CMC comes back, he'll be a heavy favorite to win it all?
I don't think his team. I mean, going into the season, right? I think the knock on his team, from my perspective, I didn't think Derrick Henry was going to be good. I didn't think Alvin Kamara was going to be this good. They've both been amazing. I mean, I didn't think Mike Evans was going to be this good again. I didn't think George Kittle was going to be this good. And all of these players, all of these dudes have been having their best season ever.
Yeah.
Fantasy-wise. So, I don't know. It just seems to me like something's got to give on his team, whether it's an injury to one of the older guys or one of the older guys just runs out of steam. It just seems like it's a ticking time bomb in a way. And, I mean, you look at Travis Etienne, he's already losing his job.
Yeah, that's going to be a big hit
to a large degree.
Well, I guess not if he gets CMC back, but right now it'll be a big hit until that happens.
Well, Nico Collins is looking like a potential multi-week injury there with the hamstring.
Nico Collins is hurt. So, I don't know. I mean, his team obviously, as it stands, is amazing.
Yeah.
But it seems fragile. So.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily have a whole lot of depth.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the biggest factors recently, he's gained another startable player in Michael Pittman. Of course, he's been good when he has a decent fantasy player.
Michael Pittman was really good last year, just as a reminder.
But
not to start the season.
Yeah. So the correlation is when Anthony Richardson starts versus Starbucks starts.
Good point. Good point.
So to my dismay, when Anthony Richardson plays, well, it doesn't really matter for me, but Anthony Richardson is not a good throwing quarterback. He's a good rushing quarterback, and he's got some fantasy upside, but in terms of supporting wide receivers, I'd argue he leaves some to be desired. But Michael Pittman is soaking up Joe Flacco right now.
Yeah,
that's true. That's fair. Fair point.
I mean, it really does. He depends on whether Anthony Richardson starts the rest of the season or if Joe Flacco does. So
yeah, 5, 3.6, 5.6, and then 14, 12. The clear, getting yards, targets, touchdowns in those games that Joe Flacco is playing quarterback.
Yeah. He's no Alec Pierce, but,
No, not an Alec Pierce. But yeah. I think we should expect some more analysis for Week 6 coming up. So we'll see if that makes it in the show here. Looking forward to that. I thought our guest last week had a lot of good insights for some of those fantasy matchups.
Sure.
And
I'm gonna have to listen now because obviously I hear all this when we're talking, so I need to listen to last week so I can hear the analysis. I'll fast forward to that part. Although I hear you cut off the end of Ryan because you didn't like what he was saying about your team.
Shh, the mystery guest.
Logan.
I accidentally cut off 45 seconds.
Sorry, just bleep me out.
Yeah, I gotta find a bleep edit. I gotta label this as not for kids anymore on YouTube. Explicit content.
If I'm on, it's going to be explicit.
Oh yeah,
that's how I roll.
Oh man.
Okay, wait. You said one of our episodes had 40 listens to it. Which one is it? It's got to be the first one, right?
Yeah. So looking at the YouTube channel here, I would say that's where we're averaging the most views. Going back, we had 12, 9, 7, 8, 8, 11, 16. But the outlier at this point is Doing the Untankable, episode 14. That was our week 3 episode. It's got 42 views. Yeah.
Dang,
I wonder.
Your chart is going up and to the right as far as views go.
That's a good
You
thing.
might want to start putting a pitch deck together for investors. I'm just saying. The chart's looking good.
I wonder.
It really is.
I didn't have autoplay on anything, but I wonder if when I was working on the app it played it at all. I don't think it did, but I wonder if that plays a factor at all.
A little YouTube secret I learned from my friend Logan. If you put a picture of yourself without your shirt on as the thumbnail, and then you name it something suggestive, you'll get a lot more views.
Completely accident, but my video Pool Flash, thousands of views on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, coming up, the thumbnails are going to have a shirtless Logan on there. So, coincidentally, I'm wearing the same outfit in this one with 42 views. So I think this is what it is, guys.
I think if you look at the majority of the summer episodes, I'm wearing my black Mavs t-shirt because we were filming during the NBA playoffs, and there's generally a Mavs game, and I liked that shirt, so I wore it for most of the games. I noticed that when I was collecting the
I cover those up with
takes.
I cover them up with poop emojis, though.
Why? You don't even have an NBA team, so I don't know why you're hating on the Mavs.
I'm a huge fan. Just a fan.
Yeah. All right. Well, any final or parting thoughts for our week 5? Right. This is week 5. Week 5 recap.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's my final thought: chop wood, carry water. That's all I'm doing.
That's really wise of you. Thank you.
I gotta ignore the results. Focus on, I guess the results are important, but focus on what I can control.
Yeah.
And that's putting the best team out there that I can put out there. And the best team I can put out there scores 65. I get Saquon back.
Honestly,
I get Devontae Smith. Devontae Adams goes to the someone else besides the Raiders, which will be better. So we'll see. See what happens.
We will.
All right. Well, and it's good. I hope you keep competing. I know you and I have talked about potential trades. I don't know. I've been watching that Boise State running back, and I really want him. So
no, he's a bust, dude. You don't want him. Trust me.
I really want him. So I hope Leslie teams gets back on track, and I keep my pick. So that being said, the Outmanage app is in the App Store now. I know we've talked about it for a while, and I probably should plug this at the start of the episode and not the end. But it's on the App Store and it's on the web, app.outmanage.com. Maybe I'll start it this week, but I'm gonna offer $5 to whoever beats me. I don't know if I'm officially doing it yet, but I might start doing that just to try to get people using it, get some interaction. So we'll see.
That's an expensive customer acquisition cost right there.
Yeah, what if you just did $1? I think I'd do it for that.
I don't think most people would do it for that. I believe that you would, Justin, but I don't.
I've been beating you every week.
Yeah, but you got to beat me
I'd have
by the
$4.
most. I'm not just giving $5 to everyone who beats me. I'm giving $5 to the one person who beats me the most.
I can't wait for Justin to punish me in our 16-team league for not setting my lineup. Oh.
Wait, did you not say your lineup?
Punish me harder. Punish me harder,
Daddy.
Daddy.
That one off the record. We'll take that one off the record.
All right. Yeah, y'all go download that. Download your friends. Challenge the league. I'm crushing the league. I've got so many points against everyone. So, I have a 5-week advantage because I've been the only one with access to it. But yeah. Otherwise, we'll see y'all next time. And thanks to the 14 people that listen. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.